Well, hello there, Radical Metal subscribers. There are many more of you now. We recently had a contest where I gave away a free guitar to a lucky Mastodon fan from the Mastodon Mayhem fan page. So if you're not a Mastodon fan, then you don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe you figured it out along the way. But because we have so many new subscribers, and yes, sort of through bribery, via a guitar giveaway contest, you are here nonetheless. So I wanted to make a video to talk about what you may have gotten yourself into, which hopefully is cool. I think we're all Mastodon fans for a reason. We're probably, while not all metal fans subscribe to Radical Metal, I think many do organically because I love heavy metal music. So I love doing videos on heavy metal, whether it's interviewing new heavy metal up-and-coming bands, or maybe if I'm lucky, some bands like Mastodon and some of the ones that have been around here for a while. But it's also in doing metal covers, and also the recently christened Radical Riffs. My first one was Ghost of Perdition by Opeth. The second one, as you may have seen, was The Last Baron by Mastodon. My next one's going to be a maybe a little less known group called Junior Bruce, The Ocean's Daughter. So stay tuned for that one. And so while I love metal, this channel is not just about one passion, heavy metal, but about a number of passions. I want to roll with all of my passions and then kind of see what happens. And maybe I'll go with one specific one in the future and just stick with that, and maybe put the other passions on another channel. I don't know. But for now, I'm doing all of them here. And so what you may see, new subscriber, is you may see some videos that are more political in nature. Now, don't worry. Politics, this really shouldn't be as scary of a word as we have made it out to be. Radical metal comes from the phrase radical middle. So if you think about that, you got the radical left and you got the radical right. And if you're like me, you're irritated with both sides. And at the same time, you've been able to discern some value maybe coming from the left or from the right. And don't you wish we could just take the best of both worlds and put it in a common sense political party and go from there? Well, that's closer to what radical middle is all about. So when I reference radical middle, I'm really specifically talking about politics. So in my mind, the radical middle is it's something I'm passionate about. It's something where the main tenet of radical middle is dignity in the discourse. Again, this is a reaction to the disparagement that goes from the left to the right and the right to the left, where all value, if there was any there in the first place, gets lost because all they're doing is taking each other down a peg. The people I want in power are the ones who may see sense in the other side, should it be there, and promote that as well. Not to fight common sense because common sense isn't on their side, but to work together in order to come up with the most superior solution. So that's what radical middle stands for. Do I think it's going to be a movement that takes over the world and makes everything better again? No, not necessarily, at least not right now. But I want to do my best to contribute to that voice, that radical middle voice out there, and I want to reinforce it. All to say, some of these videos will maybe be a little more politically oriented than maybe you might have wanted. So don't watch them. Or just watch the heavy metal ones. But I want you to know where I'm coming from when I make those videos. So it'll either be kind of preaching the gospel on dignity in the discourse, that type of thing. Or it may be me talking to someone that I strongly disagree with. If you scroll down in the videos, you'll see me talk to a member of QAnon. The reason I wanted to do that is because I'd gotten to know this individual. We were able to speak to each other in a dignified manner where I wasn't coming with an agenda to take him down, and he was, for the most part, not coming to take me down. And so by doing that, I wanted to share an examples. Like, here's two opposing viewpoints able to disagree agreeably. And hey, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be refreshing to see more of that with the people we know that are in power? So that's the radical middle part. It's not me trying to start a cult. It's me trying to reinforce that type of voice out there, a public voice. To maybe it will start a movement. I don't know. I'm not arrogant enough to think that it will, but I'm there for it if it does. I just want to reinforce that voice of common sense that you can usually find in the middle, and not be timid about it. I think a lot of folks that are in the middle, they don't speak about politics, and especially the leaders we need, they don't come out and lead because what are they getting themselves into right now? They don't want to get drawn into a system where you get higher up as long as you're taking the other guy down a peg and disparaging what they stand for and what they've come to the table for. That radical middle is not about that. Radical middle is to give folks a voice, an opportunity to bring their testimony to the table, which is another tenet of radical middle. Meaning, give a place, a safe space where folks can say, hey, how did I come to look at things the way I look at things? And it's not coming with an agenda. It's not coming with a scheme to take down whoever they're having a discourse with. They're merely saying, hey, this is how I've come to this viewpoint. So if you look, there's another video. It says my political testimony. So you'll hear what my testimony is in terms of politics. Why have I come to believe the way I do? And why will I vote the way that I plan to vote? I'm not telling you you should vote any certain way. I'm saying, hey, an election's coming up. This is how I plan to vote. And I'll tell you how I got to this conclusion. So radical middle is a space for folks that can feel safe to say, hey, this is where I come from, and this is how I see things. It doesn't have to agree with me. In fact, I hope that there's a diversity of opinion, and that through talking to each other, we'll get to some clarity. There's a quote that I love to quote all the time. It's a quote by Alan Watts. It says, clarity comes through engagement. Well, I think if we engage each other, we'll arrive at more clarity than if we debate each other in a way where we're just trying to put the other down. But if we come together with an understanding and an open mind and an open heart, we can share how we've come to our perspectives. They share how they come to their perspectives. And then we hope that there might be some clarity that comes out of that engagement. So that's radical middle in a nutshell. Pretty soon I'll be having the author, a guy who actually wrote the book on radical middle, Mark Satin. So stand by for that interview if any of this stuff intrigues you. And then finally, this channel is about some other passions that I like to talk about from time to time. Some of them are popular, some of them are not so popular. I love cigars. I love to smoke cigars. So sometimes I will review a cigar that I got from the local cigar shop. So you'll see some of those. And then Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of people out there that kind of have Bitcoin has a little bit of a negative viewpoint. Folks sometimes look at them negatively because people like to talk about Bitcoin that know Bitcoin. Well, so do I. You don't have to watch those videos if you're not interested, but that's another example of me bringing my passions to this channel. Another passion of mine is health. While I may drink more wine than someone probably should sometimes, and I like to smoke cigars, I also like to keep healthy. I'm interested in health stuff. I'm interested in exercise. I'm interested in what the health gurus say on the internet and talking about that and whether or not they're bringing any value to the table or if they're snake oil salesmen. I do cold plunges. I go to the gym. I eat foods, not all the time, that I think are good for me. I take DNA tests. I take blood work to figure all that stuff out. So if you're interested in that, you'll see that from time to time as well. So I think it's majority metal, probably 60%, and then 20% politics. What's left? 70, 30, 15% Bitcoin, 15% health. Anything left over, which there isn't, I'll figure out the math one of these days. And that's what you've gotten yourself into, new subscribers. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a good time here. We like to be fun. I like to be silly. I like to have a good time. I want it to be entertaining, but I also want it to have some authenticity about how I feel about things, but authenticity about the people I engage on here and how they look at things. So I hope that makes sense, and I'm glad you're here. I hope you watch the videos. This is ideally a discourse, so leave comments in the comment section, and hey, who knows, maybe you'll come on the show. You have a great day, and happy belated 4th of July, and talk to you soon.